YouTubers. My name is Aunty O. Today I'd like to bring you a video about the state of affairs of particularly Black Americans, for which I am one, and what's going to happen economically going forward, and how we should prepare for the new financial terrain that we will have to navigate over the next, say, 10 years. For myself, who is nearing retirement, or for our younger children, or for the very small children who are coming up in the next 20, 30 years that will have to make some financial decisions on how to use their money and how to spend their money. Again, my name is Aunty O. Therefore, although I do understand some finances and I have a little bit of background in that, I am not a licensed professional investment banker or an accountant. I'm just your auntie, sharing some little secrets that I've discovered. Actually, before we even get into a plan or a strategy of how we'll navigate the next 10 years of what we'll be able to do now that we've hit global recession and potentially, as everyone's calling it, inflation, just want us to go through and find out exactly the basics, okay? So one of the first things that we have to kind of understand is, what is the affordability index? I just went ahead and Googled Investopedia, Investopedia.com. And the YouTube and internet, they're just amazing search engines. I get a lot of my information from there. Yes, you can read all these books and things, but there's lots of other people out here putting this information out there. Go ahead, just listen. Knowledge is power. Just like you're listening to me, knowledge is power. But let's get back to the affordability index. What is the affordability index? That's number one. Bottom line for that is, it is the price of goods and service, or the general cost of living in a region compared to other regions. Now that was taken directly from Investopedia, as is the references I'm making to most of this. So basically what it's saying is that the general prices of goods and services and housing and your groceries, what does that cost compared to, say, living up north, which we all know is higher, living out west, which we know is a lot higher, so we're talking about California, living up north, New York, Boston, or compared to living down the south, which tends to be a little bit lower cost of living, depending how far south you go. So Miami would be probably the higher region of the south, and then there'd be Georgia, Louisiana, which would have lower cost of living. The bottom line is, for whatever area you live in, you have to be able to still acquire wealth. If you feel that you are in an area that you cannot acquire wealth for your generation, for yourself, it is time to move. I'm telling you, I've had to move, I've had to relocate, because you are going to find out when you look up 10, 15, 20 years later, you have not been able to maintain your standards of living, and you probably are going down. So, affordability index is very important to understand before you even start establishing yourself in a certain region, city, locale. Okay? Now, case in point, I'm going to get back to the Investopedia, what it's saying on the stats. I'm going to go ahead and read these stats here. According to Investopedia, all right, affordability by race. Now, you know what always happens, affordability by race. What do you think's happening? Blacks are at the bottom. Let's repeat that again. Our beautiful black people, we're on the bottom. So, let's look at this. The major cost that is incurred in order to sustain yourself in any economic situation, one of the biggest factors is housing. And now they're just looking at mortgages, because rent is not part of gaining wealth. So we're not going to count rent. We're going to talk about mortgages. So the first thing, it was saying that according to their 2020 stats, the average cost of a home in 2020, it is 2021, okay, October, and this was back in December 2020. The average cost back then was 309. Fast forward that. The average cost now is probably about 375 for the average cost. Don't have those stats, but let's say we know what happened. Housing prices have gone up. So therefore, the average cost of a home is going to be higher than that 309. But we're going to just say at that time, using national figures according to Investopedia, Google it online, only 43% of Black Americans could afford that amount of home, compared to 54% of Latinos and 64% of whites and 71% of Asians. Okay, let's digest these numbers real quickly here. If owning a home is one way of creating financial freedom for yourself, creating financial nest egg for your future, for your children's future and your children's future, we are only at 43% for Black, so almost 50%. And I'm sure those numbers were dumbed down not to be alarming. So they're 43, 50% of us. So that's 50% of my brothers and sisters that are not able to have a mortgage, which is one of the easiest ways actually to acquire wealth. And 71% of Asians and 64% of whites are able to do the exact same thing. So what do? Where do we go forward from here? Because it's gotten even higher. It's gotten even harder. We're in the middle of a pandemic, but not to fear. I am not, like I said, I am not a financial advisor. I'm Aunty O. And as Aunty O, I just want you to listen, but you don't have to act on any of these things that I'd like to talk to you about in my upcoming videos. Strategies on how to go forward. I must say that all of these strategies that I'm talking about, I have done myself. Now, I'm not wealthy, because I know these people come, yeah, I'm a millionaire, blah, 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 I'm a millionaire. Okay, but I'm comfortable. And most Black families just want to be comfortable. After doing 20, 30 years of working hard, which we do, we just want to be comfortable. We don't want to be out in the streets. We don't want to be worried about our children, how they will be able to afford housing, how they will be able to afford food. Right now, we're really just in survival mode. At that rate of 49%, we got to get those numbers up. So my next series are, yes, for the people who have their homes and have acquired that, there's a lot. I have my home. I have more than my home. I'm not going to go into all my financials on the internet. But what I'm going to say is that I just felt compelled to go out there and share it live with other people to say, we have to do better. I mean, sometimes I just want to run in the malls or in the streets and just hold my fellow Black person and just say, hey, we know we're at the bottom. Do you realize what's going on? And what are we going to do? Because we can't. The power is in our hands. I do get a lot of my information from other prominent people, Black and white. I listen to everyone. It's not just about, you just can't just learn from Black people. You just can't learn from white people. It's not a race thing. This is an economic thing right now. Okay? Yes, race is involved, but we know what the game is. We know the hand we've been dealt. So just like we can't change the color of our skin, we're going to have to also deal with the economic, the disparities, and all those things that go along with it, and work within that system. And it's going to keep changing because the game keeps changing. We know this. But despite of that, we have managed to do 49%, despite all the setbacks we've had, but we've got to do better. Anyways, for now, thank you for watching my video, and let me know Auntie O has your back. Bye.